Sleep is a periodic, natural loss of consciousness. And our consciousness is our awareness of ourselves and our emotions and our awareness in the environment. So when we fall asleep, we are naturally losing our awareness of what's going around inside of us and outside of us as well. Now, we're going to talk about the different stages of sleep, but before we talk about the different stages of sleep, let's talk about what happens when we're awake. If we're awake with our eyes open, our brain does a type of wave called a beta wave. Looking at a beta wave here, you can see that beta waves, they have a really fast frequency. Now, if we're still awake, but we close our eyes and we start to relax, then our brain waves turn into alpha waves. You can see alpha waves here. They have a slower frequency. But both beta and alpha waves happen when we're awake. When we first fall asleep, our first stage of sleep is called non-REM stage 1. Non-REM stands for non-rapid eye movements because our eyes don't move very much in this stage of sleep. But what does happen during this stage of sleep is that our brain waves transition to another type of wave called a theta wave. Theta waves are even slower in frequency than alpha waves. And now, while we are in stage 1 sleep, we also can have what are called hypnagogic hallucinations. If you've ever fallen asleep and suddenly you felt like you were falling and you jerked yourself awake to catch yourself from falling, that's a hypnagogic hallucination. You weren't actually falling, but when our brains start to fall asleep, we get these hallucinations and we perceive things that aren't really happening. When we are in non-REM stage 1 sleep, we are still very easy to wake up with these hypnagogic hallucinations, and other people can wake us up very easily too. When we get to stage 2 sleep, it is still considered a non-REM sleep. So we still don't have rapid eye movements. We're going to be in a slightly deeper state of sleep. We still have theta waves for our brain activity, but we also have periodic sleep spindles and K complexes. So you can see a sleep spindle in this image. You can see that there's a rapid fluctuation in our brain waves happening. And then a K complex, there's a high amplitude to a brain wave. These two show when a person is in stage 2 sleep. And additionally, if you're next to someone in stage 2 sleep, you can definitely tell that they're asleep as well. They're going to have very rhythmic breathing. They're definitely going to be showing that they're asleep. Next stage of sleep is called non-REM stage 3. This is a very deep sleep that's going to help our bodies repair and help our bodies grow. And during this stage, our brain waves are very large and slow. These are called delta waves. So during stage 3 sleep, we still don't have our rapid eye movement. This is still a non-REM type of sleep. And you can see the delta waves down here. They are very large and slow. So we call this slow wave sleep as well. And it's going to help our bodies repair and grow. There's one last stage of sleep, which is called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, where our eyes move rapidly back and forth. This happens when we dream. So REM sleep is the stage of sleep where we dream. Now, REM sleep is also called paradoxical sleep. Now, why is it called paradoxical sleep? It's because our brain is very active. We're dreaming, and if we look at our brain waves, we actually have beta waves, which is the same waves we had when we are awake. So our brain is very active, but our muscles are extremely relaxed. So one part is active, one part is relaxed. It's paradoxical sleep. And the reason why our muscles are relaxed is so that we don't act out our dreams. We're not going to go and get up and do whatever we are doing within our dreams. Instead, we're going to stay in our beds. Now, the way that I like to remember our different brain waves when we're awake and when we're asleep is the reason why I have bats on this page. If you remember that bats drink blood, you have the brain waves in order. So when we're fully awake, we have beta waves, which starts with a B. When we start to relax, we're still awake, but we close our eyes, our brain waves turn to alpha waves, or A. When we first fall asleep, our brain waves turn to theta waves, T. In stage 2, we have those theta waves, but we also have those sleep spindles. So sleep spindles, we're going to represent that with an S. So we have bats. Next, when we fall asleep fully into that very deep sleep, we have those slow delta waves. We're going to do D for delta, and I want you to think about that word drink. And last, when we're in REM sleep, our brain's very active. So we go back to those beta waves, B, and we're going to think about blood. So bats drink blood. You get the brain waves when we're awake and going through the stages of sleep. Now, we will go through these stages of sleep every 90 minutes. So we will start with stage 1, we go to stage 2, we go to stage 3, we go back to stage 1, and then finally we enter REM, and the cycle will continue going back down to 2 and 3. We will keep doing that cycle every 90 minutes. So let's talk about an example problem then using bats drink blood. This problem says that this stage of sleep is characterized by the presence of delta waves. So if you remember, when we're fully awake, that's beta. Awake and relaxed, that's alpha. Stage 1, that's theta. Stage 2, that's theta, but with sleep spindles. And then stage 3 for drink, that's when we get our delta. So the answer to this is going to be D. Non-REM stage 3 has delta waves. Finally, don't forget that REM sleep, we go back to beta, so we end with blood. Bats drink blood helps you remember our sleep and our brain waves in order.